everyone, welcome to Let's Talk in English on PTS.
Get ready to learn something new today. My name is Gabe.
And I'm Andrea. Today we continue our lesson about using public transportation. Many of you probably use public transportation every day, so let's learn about it in English. Let's begin with today's key words. Say them with us. Our first one is public. Public. Lee doesn't use public bathrooms. They aren't clean.
Transportation. Transportation. What transportation will you use? You don't have a car.
Cheap. Cheap. This ticket costs so much. It's not cheap.
Gas. Gas. Do you have enough gas in your car? Well, I hope so. But before you go and check your car, let's look at these words one more time. The first one is public. Public.
Transportation. Transportation.
Cheap. Cheap.
Gas. Gas. Great job, everyone. Now let's go see our friend Eddie.
Yeah.
Hello.
Today, I took public transportation to work.
Really?
Oh, good job, Eddie.
Good job.
Yeah.
Well, we're glad you're here because we need today's mission.
Okay. Well, here it is. What is Sarah's report about?
What is Sarah's report about?
We will find out in today's lesson, so let's begin.
Thanks for coming over, Renee.
No problem. So you need help with your report?
Yes, I'm writing a report about public transportation in big cities.
Cool. How can I help?
You're from Chicago. Did you use public transportation there?
Yes, I used it all the time.
Well, Sarah is at home and Renee comes over. Now, what did Renee used to use all the time?
Oh, I know.
Yes, Gabe?
Okay, Renee used to use public transportation all the time.
Okay, so she's going to share with Sarah about public transportation in Chicago. And friends, we just said our two key words. Let's learn the first one. It is public. Public. If something is public, that means it is for everyone to use. A public school is a school everyone can go to. A public washroom is a washroom everyone can use.
And another way that you can use this word is if you are speaking. If you have a public speech, then that means you are speaking for a lot of people to hear. Or if you use public transportation, that is transportation that a lot of people will use.
Well, let's learn about this key word together. It is transportation. Transportation. Transportation is something that you use to get from one place to another place.
And so there are many different kinds of transportation. You can have a bus or an MRT or a taxi or another kind of subway or a train. These are all different kinds of transportation. And I like transportation that is convenient.
Okay, well, Gabe, what is your favorite kind of transportation?
Oh, good question. You know what? I love taxis because they are comfortable and quick. But I also love the MRT because it is convenient and cheap. That is a good form of transportation.
Sounds good. Friends, we also found the answer to today's mission. The question is, What is Sarah's report about?
What is Sarah's report about? It's about public transportation in big cities.
Great. Tell me about it.
When I lived in Chicago, I took the subway to work.
It's the third busiest subway in America. I read about it.
Yes, and people called it the L.
Interesting. Do you like public transportation?
Well, there are good things and bad things about it.
What are the good things?
So there are good things and bad things about public transportation. Now, what is another way of saying the good things or the bad things about something?
Well, you can also say pros and cons. The pros are the good things and the cons are the bad things.
Yes, pros, P-R-O-S, are the good things, and cons, C-O-N-S, are the bad things. Well, we'll find out about the pros and cons of public transportation later, but first, let's look at the beginning of this conversation. Sara says to Renee, "Tell me about it. Tell me about public transportation." Well, this is a good phrase to know. Tell me about it. It means you want someone to describe something to you. Tell me about it.
Hey, Gabe, now you used to live in L.A., Los Angeles. Tell me about it.
Oh, well, I'd be glad to. I loved Los Angeles. It's a great big city. And one reason I love it is because there are so many different kinds of people that live in this one big city. There, I told you about Los Angeles. Now tell me about your weekend.
Oh, Gabe, I had a wonderful weekend. I went on a hike. It was just beautiful.
That sounds great.
Public transportation is convenient. Chicago's L has 144 stations. I took the subway all over the city.
London's subway has even more stations. It has 275 stations.
Wow, that is really convenient. Public transportation is also cheap. You really don't need to drive a car.
So you also save money.
Right, because you don't need to pay for gas.
Welcome back, everybody. Gabe, what are you doing?
Oh, the car ran out of gas. I need to get more gas.
Gas?
Yes.
You have gas in your pocket?
Gas for the car.
Gabe. That is the wrong kind of gas.
This is the wrong kind of gas for
Yes,
the car?
don't do it. Bring your car over here, okay? And we're going to teach our lesson together.
Okay,
Okay?
right.
I'm glad you brought your car, and that's the wrong gas, but we will learn about what gas is. It's a key word. Let's learn it together. Gas. Gas. Now, gas is what a car needs to drive. Gas gives the car power to move.
And so when a car is out of gas, that means it can't go anymore. And so it needs more gas. Now, this isn't the right kind of gas for a car, but there are different kinds of gas. 瓦斯, some kinds of gas you use in a lighter. When you want to light something on fire, you need gas.
Yes, you do. Well, you also need gas for a car. You have to pay for gas. You go to a gas station and they will charge you for the gas that you need. And gas isn't cheap, is
No,
it,
it's
Gabe?
not. Gas is getting more and more expensive because oil is hard to find.
So, public transportation is cheaper. You don't have to pay for gas. Our keyword is cheap. Cheap. Now, if something is cheap, that means it doesn't cost a lot of money. It is not very expensive.
And usually I like to buy things that are cheap, that are not very expensive. And if I go on a trip somewhere or I travel, I like to make the trip as cheap as possible.
Well, it's good. It's important to try to save money.
How to.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to How To. I am your host, Ashley, but today I am also your taxi driver. And Romeo is my passenger.
That's right, I'm the passenger, 乘客.
Now, when you are in a taxi, you have to tell the taxi driver where you want to go. Let's learn how to do that. Are you ready, Romeo?
I'm ready.
Okay. Hello.
To the train station, please.
To the train station. I can take you to the train station. That is the first way. Now, what is the second way?
I'd like to go to the train station.
I can take you to the train station. But first, let's look at the third way.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome to my taxi.
Please take me to the train station.
The train station? Before we go to the train station, let's review.
To the train station, please. I'd like to go to the train station. Please take me to the train station.
Now you know how to do it. We have to go to the train station. See you next week.
Conversation replay.
Thanks for coming over, Renee.
No problem. So you need help with your report?
Yes. I'm writing a report about public transportation in big cities.
Cool. How can I help?
You're from Chicago. Did you use public transportation there?
Yes, I used it all the time.
Great. Tell me about it.
When I lived in Chicago, I took the subway to work.
It's the third busiest subway in America. I read about it.
Yes, and people called it the L.
Interesting. Do you like public transportation?
Well, there are good things and bad things about it.
What are the good things?
Public transportation is convenient. Chicago's L has 144 stations. I took the subway all over the city.
London's subway has even more stations. It has 275 stations.
Wow, that is really convenient. Public transportation is also cheap. You really don't need to drive a car.
So you also save money.
Right, because you don't need to pay for gas.
Calendar phrase.
Hey, Gabe.
Yes?
Let's go shopping.
Good idea.
Okay, let's go to the mall.
A great idea. But how will we get there?
Oh, well, let's take the bus.
Hey, that's a great idea. Where is the bus stop?
Well, Gabe, that was yesterday's calendar phrase. Today's calendar phrase is, let's take the bus.
Let's take the bus.
Now, if you want to go somewhere, you can tell your friends how you want to get there by saying, let's take the bus, or let's take a taxi, or let's take the MRT.
But today's calendar phrase is, let's take the bus. And now let's go and see the calendar phrase skit right now.
Let's take the bus.
Let's take the bus. Let's go shopping at the mall.
Okay,
That sounds great. How will we get there?
let's take the bus.
The bus is too slow. Let's take a taxi.
Taxis are too expensive. Let's take the bus.
Okay, let's take the bus.
Let's take the bus.
Let's take the bus.
QOD, QOD,
QOD!
It is time for the QOD, the question of the day. Eddie?
It's me. Well, I'm not the question of the day. I can give you the question of the day, though, and here it is. What kind of transportation do you often use? Why?
What kind of transportation do you often use? Why?
Well, I often use the subway and I often use the bus. I like to take buses places because subways and buses are cheap.
Yes, and they are great ways to get around. Now ask someone this question today. Then join us again tomorrow here on Let's Talk
In English on PTS,
where learning English can be fun. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.